Hello everybody and welcome to my video about how to cite a secondary source that cites a primary source. So another way to think about this is, how do you cite something that cites another article? So when there is an in-text citation in the text and you want to use that information in your own writing, how do you do that correctly? So let's have a look at this. So let's start with an example which we can compare with the in-text citation later. So if you stop the video and just read through the paragraph, I will talk about it in a few moments. So let's review a couple of things first. First of all, a quotation. So what is a quotation? So remember, a quotation is when we use the exact words of the speaker. Okay, so the article does include a quotation. However, it does not include a citation. Okay, so there is a quotation. The quotation is from William Ripple, but there is no citation. There is just the name William Ripple. So remember that a citation is both a name and a year in parentheses. Okay, so we don't have that in this example here, so there is no citation. Note that the article was written by Catherine Gammon. This will be important when we paraphrase this text. Okay, so what we do in this case, we would just simply use reported speech. There is no quotation here. We can simply paraphrase the text. Okay, so this is very common in newspaper articles. Newspaper articles are not academic writing. They do not include citations, but good newspaper articles will sometimes include quotations like here, but this is not a citation. So this is different from the article that we're going to look at. In this case, it's just a name. Okay, in this case, you just paraphrase and say, William Ripple says, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. Just paraphrase this information if you find this kind of example. Okay, so what we need to do is remove the quotation marks and paraphrase. So the example is behind me. You can stop the video if you want to take a closer look at that. So I just changed the vocabulary as always, as regular, as we normally do, sorry, and I just included the citation at the end for Gammon. Okay, so there's no citation for Ripple in the text. Ripple is the speaker, but we do not cite Ripple, we cite Gammon because Gammon is the article that we read. But when you've read that and compared the two, let's move on and look at what we are going to do. So the one we are going to do is different. So if you look at the text on the PowerPoint, maybe you can stop the video and read it now. So you will notice that there are some citations in that text. Okay, in fact, there are two in-text citations. The first in-text citation is Ripple 2017 in red, and the second one is IPCC 2018. So this is different from the first example. In the first example, the source of information was mentioned, it was William Ripple, but they didn't include the citation. There was no name, sorry, there was no year, there was a name, there was no year, and there was no parenthesis. Okay, so in these cases, we have both a name and a year, and they are included in parenthesis. So this is a citation. This is very, very common in academic research. So the first example was a newspaper article. Like I said, it's not academic writing, so they don't do citations. Of course, when it's academic writing, there are always citations, as I said, and the Colonel also mentioned, of course. So in this case, this is academic writing. It's an academic article or a journal article. We can see that there are citations in the text. So in this case, there is the citation for a primary source in the secondary source. The secondary source is the one you are reading. Okay, so if you are reading something and it includes an in-text citation for a previous piece of research, another piece of research done by that person or any other researcher, which is very, very common, then you will need to do a different kind of citation. Only in this case do you use this specific citation. So let's have a look at it. The two citations in the text are Ripple et al. 2017 and IPCC 2018. So those are the two primary sources mentioned in the text. So what you need to do to cite the source you are reading is to change the citation. So you will do it by adding the words as cited in. So the text you are reading in this case is Ripple 2019 or Ripple et al. 2019. So in this case, the first citation is Ripple 2017. That's the in-text citation in the text. And then you also include the secondary source that you read, which here is Ripple 2019. Now, you might think this is a confusing example, but actually it's not, because it's very, very common for people to give a citation for their own research. Often one research article will follow the next one in a series or a logical progression. Okay, so this is in fact a very, very common example where the person cites their own research. So in this case, Ripple is citing his own research that he did with the other group of people. In this case, the citation is Ripple et al. 2017. That's the primary source. That's where the information originally came from. And then you give the text that you read as cited in Ripple et al. 2019. So what this means is you read Ripple 2019, you didn't read Ripple 2017. Okay, if you did read both, you would just include normal in-text citations for both next to the information that you took. But in this case, you did not read Ripple 2017. You read about Ripple or about the IPCC research in another article. Okay, so this is the specific case where we use this citation. And in the second example here, we would use IPCC 2018 as cited in Ripple et al. 2019. So you can see that the second part of the citation is the same in both cases. This is because we are citing the same article. Okay, so when it's actually in the text, it looks like this. You would just include the information in parentheses at the end of the sentence. So it's a long citation in this case. Ripple et al. 2017 as cited in his second article in 2019. And again, IPCC 2018 as cited in Ripple 2019. So you can see that it's all in the parenthesis at the end of the sentence. So that's the best way to do it. Include all of this information in a citation at the end after the last piece of information. Okay, so let's look at a few things to review. So remember that the paper, the article that you are reading will always be the secondary source. In other words, you always cite the paper that you read. So think of the voice of the colonel here, maybe. You always need a citation. You always cite the paper that you read. The video, the article, always that one. Okay, that must always be cited. So you cite the information source that you read, that you looked at. Okay, but if that information source refers to other research that you did not read and you found that information in the article that you read, then in this case, you must give the second different citation that includes both sources of information. So if the paper cites another paper, include both citations. Okay, so I will show you one more time, like the text behind me. Okay, so let's move on and let's have a look at the questions you're going to do. First, education majors. The text is here. So what you're going to do is paraphrase that text. Okay, there is a citation in the text. It comes at the end, right? But you will notice when you click the link that that is a different source of information. So the quotation is Ryan and Deci, 2017. They are the people that created self-determination theory. However, the article you read is not by them. Click the link and see who wrote that paper or which organization produced that research, and then do the citation will be Ryan and Deci as cited in blah, 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 or Ryan and Deci 2017 as cited in blah, blah, blah. Okay, of course, you also remove the quotation marks and you paraphrase. And the final one is for art and design majors. We can see here that the citation is in the middle of the text. So the citation is for Halliday 1978. So please notice that. So that little quotation there, that is the primary source being mentioned in the secondary source. So what you need to do is open the secondary source behind me, the link behind me, and also include that in your citation. So please paraphrase the quotation from Halliday. So rewrite it in your own words and then include the citation for both of them. So it will be Halliday as cited in the article behind me, or Halliday 1978 as cited in the article behind me. Okay, and again, you remove all the quotation marks because you're paraphrasing, but you will, of course, include a specific citation for Halliday because here we are practicing citing a primary source, which is also included in the secondary source. So here, Halliday is the primary source, and the secondary source is the one behind me. Okay, so thanks very much for watching my video. I look forward to reading your paraphrases and seeing how you do your secondary citation for a primary source. Okay, thanks very much, everybody.